if the company, look on the company's website, and if the company has an event that's open to the public or a virtual opportunity that's open to the
Mhm.
public, then you
Mhm.
sign up to attend. That like a golf tournament or
Why not?
a networking event. If
Yes.
there's events that they're offering, show
Show
up.
up. Career transitions are very challenging. They're like you're walking a tightrope and you're uncertain when you're going to secure the job. You're uncertain about when you can say you'll be able to make an income to take care of yourself and your family. In this episode, we're so lucky, we're so fortunate to have Madame Theresa Proctor, who is a career transition expert, to talk to us about how you can stage that mighty move that you've been desperately afraid of staging so that you can be the one that brings back the beacon home again, so that you can be the one that your family is so proud of. Thank you, Madame, for coming today. I don't know, you travel a fair bit. I don't know which part of the world are you joining from today?
Yes, I am tuning in from the great state of Maryland. And Dr. Gideon, I just first want to say thank you so much for having me. I tell you, you are the ultimate, you are the master storyteller. When you started speaking about walking that tightrope, I was leaning in. I was like, okay, tell me more.
Thank you,
So
thank you,
thank you
thank you.
so much for all that you do and the impact that you're making around the world.
I appreciate that so much. Coming from you, it means the world to me. And if someone is joining for the first time, you're wondering, but who is this guy with a weird name and a goofy accent? All right, take it easy. My name is Gideon Fomokwai Fomokwai. I am the host of the Story Warrior podcast. And my claim to fame is that I see myself as a product of Africa, produced in Asia, packaged in America, and distributed worldwide. And that's how I got fortunate to meet Madame Theresa Proctor somewhere in Kansas. We met in Kansas. You're neither from Kansas. I'm not from Kansas, but we met in Kansas some years ago. And you absolutely stood out. The way you engaged, the way you presented ideas, your finesse, everything about the packaging, the delivery, the production. It's like, whoa, it's all meant. Like some people come fully formed. Most of us, no, no, no. We got to go through a lot of trouble before we get fully formed. So, how did you get to be so well, fully polished and formed, even from the get go, madam?
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, I am honored. Thank you so, so very much. And so the first thing that I would say is that everything is possible through Jesus Christ, through God. Like seriously, I have to, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And that's my personal belief.
Mhm.
And coupled with that, well, under that actually would be training. I
Mm.
hired a coach because I understood the significance of bettering your best.
Mhm.
And my first coach told me, he said, listen, Teresa, you cannot see the picture when you're inside of the frame.
Yes, indeed.
So you listen, you may think that you're good, but no, you haven't even scratched the surface yet. So you need that coach
Mm.
that's going to be really candid with you, that
Yes.
shares with you, okay, that was good. And as we were
Mhm.
talking about a moment ago, that
Mhm.
wasn't great, you know.
Yes, yes, yes.
And so my coach just really poured into me and
Wow.
really allowed me the space to make error, but
Mm,
also make improvements. And that's what
mm,
I attribute my success to. Um,
wow.
that learning culture and environment for
Mm.
sure.
So you have a learning mindset, or what Dr. Carol Dweck calls a growth mindset. You're not afraid of challenging yourself. You're not afraid of stepping up to a hot plate and say, let it burn. I'm going to
Yes.
learn something from this. How long can my feet stand on this burning platform? So tell us, where did you get started before you became this amazing transition coach that you are? How did you get started? Because I imagine you were not born. You didn't come out like, yes,
Just
mom, I'm going to be a
popped up.
transition coach.
I'm here.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes,
All of you
yes,
executives come to me, bring your problems to me. I imagine you started from somewhere. So take us a
right.
little while back.
Had my little wand.
Yeah.
But so I
Shake it, shake it,
started.
shake it.
Right, right. I would
Yeah.
say that my corporate career was in real estate. I was working with a real estate company, and I was in the community relations. That was my last
Mm-hmm.
position that I had in that corporate space
Mm-hmm.
prior to launching my company. And I tell you, when I initially started with that company, I
Mm-hmm.
interviewed, just speaking about career transitions, right? I
Mm-hmm.
interviewed for about maybe four different positions that they rejected me for every single one. And the reason being,
Okay, how can they reject you?
you know what
How,
I mean?
what were they thinking about? Can they just see quality when it comes knocking on their door?
Exactly. That's what I was
Anyway.
thinking. And so we found out that what they really wanted was to in-house promotions. They wanted those that already understood the way that they do business, just to kind of lessen
Mm-hmm.
the learning curve.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, no worries. What I know is that there is a position for me in this
Somewhere.
space, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to land the right position at the right time. And
Mm-hmm.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, after I began my career, I was then promoted 5 times, and I did not interview for any other position.
Woo! Talk
I,
about quality. That's why I said the right people show up at the right time. But I want to give a big vuvuzela moment here because you did not even have to interview for them. They just kept promoting and promoting. And I know from some research that by the time you got really, you were so high up there, right on the moon. Okay, let's keep it.
I
Just want to
love it.
blast some energy into this again. So you were climbing and climbing and climbing. By the time you left, well, how high had you climbed? And how
Yeah,
many
I was
people you
at
were supervising?
Yeah, I'm telling you, I was at the executive level making decisions,
Mm,
big financial decisions that I was the one that was signing off on, in terms
mm,
of multiple thousands of dollars that I
mhm,
didn't have
mhm.
to, run it through anyone else. Like it stopped
Exactly.
with me. But
Yep.
listen, I did not share that with anyone externally because
Mm.
then they would have really placed pressure on me.
Mm.
you know so whenever these
Okay. Okay.
requisitions or requests would come in,
Yeah.
hey, would you be a sponsor, for this event? We're asking for 50, 100,000, whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
I would say, well, you know what, I'm going to submit this,
Mhm. Okay. Okay.
to
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 see
the team,
what
and
they say.
see what they say.
Yeah.
And I just did.
But,
I turned
uh,
around and I submitted it to myself.
and look over it and sign it off. And that is so cool. That is
Yes,
so cool.
yes.
You
But
take the
I was so
pressure off of your
grateful.
back.
Exactly. You got to be
Wow.
wise. You got to
Yes. Yes.
operate with a level of wisdom. But
Some
I was
wisdom.
so grateful for those opportunities. It
Mm,
really prepared me for where I am today, actually.
yes. And I know I mentioned this. We met within the circles of a seminar, top seminar training company. And we were both going through at the same time. Very fortunately for me, because I had applied first to join them in 2011. They looked at my video, they took a deep breath. All right, they asked me in for an audition. I went for the audition. After that, I never heard from them. That's 2011. And I said, all right, guys, hold on. Do what you want to do. I go take care of myself. I went, did other things, went around the world. And 2017, I sent them the exact same video. Talk about being crazy up there. Exact same video. And that time when we met, they literally just opened the door like, come, quick, come, get right
Wow.
in, get right in. And I was so
Wow.
happy because there was no complaint. I'm sure, as you can remember, I got some compliments from you and from the other people. I'm
Oh,
not
yes.
bragging. I'm not bragging about it, but I say that timing can be everything. I was so fortunate that I reapplied. I had a conviction to reapply and send the same video. And I'm sure maybe it was a different person evaluating it, but so is the importance of timing. Talk about
Mhm.
timing with respect to mid career people who are trying to change jobs in the environment of today, which is a little bit disruptive.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, it's such a hot topic right now because we are in right now with the US College Army coined as the VUCA environment.
Okay.
VUCA being volatility, uncertainty,
Yes.
complexity, and
Yep.
ambiguity, right?
Yes.
That's
Yep.
what we're
Yeah.
all experiencing,
Yep. Yep.
regardless if we're working with an agency or a
Yes.
corporation. And
Yes, indeed.
so timing is so significant is that you
Yes.
want to make absolutely certain that this is the timing, this is the
Mhm.
right timing that I need to move in this direction, you
Yes.
know. And
Yes.
you can do that by way of having a coach
Yes.
or a trusted friend,
Yes.
someone that has some sage counsel that you
Hmm.
can just really, okay, so this is what I'm up against. This is the list
Hmm.
of pros and cons, and
Yeah.
even more than that. But
Yeah.
this is what I really desire to do in life because it's
Mm.
all about aligning with your purpose.
Yes.
What's my assignment? What am I called to do?
To do.
Because then that way you'll never feel like it's like an emotional labor
Yep.
to go to the office, even if it is the
Yep.
virtual office,
Yes. Yeah.
because I know that some of your viewers right now, they feel that way. They feel like it is an emotional labor to even
Yes.
just click on the computer
Yep.
from their own
Because
home.
someone is watching from somewhere and making sure that you have enough clicks every single second.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yes.
That is.
Yes.
I don't cherish that life, but some people are thrust into it. Talk about these federal workers that are losing their jobs in
Mm,
massive numbers. Unprecedented downsizing. Nobody could see this coming. Yeah, people cast their votes, and then saw all of a sudden, the whole terrain is shaky. For
mhm.
those who don't have the choice, what are some ways they can pivot or they can adapt to this new environment, especially those in the 40s and 50s? Because believe it or not, there's ageism. People don't get jobs in that age category very easily, even if they're qualified. So, how
Right.
can they adapt? How can they pivot?
Yes, absolutely. Well, first, my thoughts and prayers go out to those families that were impacted because
Mhm,
that is just absolutely unbelievable. And
mhm,
so, how do you really turn that setback
mhm.
into success?
Or
Is you
maybe into
have to
comeback.
be anchored in optimism.
Mm.
You have to be anchored in optimism.
Mhm.
Go. Were you about to say?
Yeah, yeah. I'm just numbering them because anchored in optimism. That's number one. I'm sure there are a couple of others coming, but yeah, I'm just acknowledging.
Absolutely. Yes, because studies have shown that right before any entrepreneur, any career professional, before they reach that moment in life that it was what they have identified as success, because you have to
Mhm.
define it on your own terms, right?
Yes.
They were in their most blissful state emotionally.
Wow.
So it's really significant that you have what I like to call cognitive renewal. It's
Mm.
reframing, it's restructuring this
Reframe.
this deficit, which would appear as a deficit, but no,
Mhm,
really, I'm being set up for something greater. I'm
mhm,
being
mhm.
set up for because some of you have been thinking about
Yeah.
transition, but you haven't moved on it,
No,
right?
correct. Yeah.
Because of the security,
Yeah.
because of the familiarity of
Mhm,
the company or agency that you're working with. But
mhm,
now you're being like really thrust
mhm.
into like making a decision. So
Yes.
the timing, although it may not seem
Mhm,
ideal, it's perfect for you.
mm,
Why? Because every moment must be maximized. How
mhm,
can I maximize this transition? Okay, so you know what? I've been thinking about working for X corporation. You
mhm,
know, I've been thinking about launching my business.
mhm.
Whatever it is that's at top of the mind for you, pursue and overtake.
Mm. So I had cognitive renewal. I had about anchored in optimism. Those are two very powerful points that can help someone um, move forward with courage and not with fear, because fear will not take you too far.
That I was just about to say, number three is releasing the past. Because what could begin to happen is
Mhm,
that every next opportunity that you embrace, there
mhm,
may be, as you just mentioned, Dr. Gideon, some fear like, okay, will this
mhm,
last? Okay,
mhm,
what's going to
mhm,
happen a year
mhm.
from now? Will I have
Yeah,
this position? No. What has happened,
that's
happened.
right.
Now we're
Yes,
forging ahead, we're moving
yes.
forward
Ooh.
optimistically.
That is very powerful. Release. Let it go. Wash your
Let
hands off of it. Wash your hands off
absolutely.
of it and say, I had you for enough. Thank you. I got to move forward. I am going to anchor myself now in my optimism, and I'm
Yes.
going to engage in some cognitive renewal because I've
Yes.
released the past, so I embrace the future.
Now let me, and I
Very deep.
thank you for the way that you so eloquently
Thank
packaged
you.
that all
Thank you.
together.
Thank you. Thank you.
With that, some people are saying, okay, Teresa, you saying release, but how do I release?
Thank you for saying that. I could
How
not.
do what's
Thank you.
that actionable step that I can take
Yeah.
to truly release? Because I
Yes.
hear what you're saying. It
Yes.
sounds simple, but yet it's a challenge for me.
Yes.
It starts with, okay, that limiting statement that you continue
Mhm.
to speak
Mhm.
over your life. Like, I wonder how long this is going to last. Okay, so you know what? It starts with the declaration. What am I
Mhm.
communicating to my subconscious mind?
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Mhm.
now I'm going to begin to work and marshal my energies towards a more empowering statement,
Yes.
as
Yes.
opposed to saying, I wonder how long this is going to last. Oh,
Yes.
this is going to be a flourishing
Yes.
opportunity for me.
Yes.
Whatever
Ooh.
that looks like for you, begin
Yes.
to meditate and focus on that, because of course we all know whatever you focus on expands.
Yes. Yes. Ooh.
You know,
That is so deep. I
yeah.
love what I'm hearing. And you're a woman of faith. So I'm not afraid to pull this out my Bible, because there's something I read just a few days ago in my
Okay.
meditation. It said in Matthew 13:58
Mm-hmm.
that a prophet is not without honor except in his own hometown
Uh-huh.
and in his own home. And he did not do miracles
Mm-hmm.
there because of their lack of faith.
Mm.
And this is Matthew talking about Christ going to his hometown, and they were questioning him like, "Who are you? Are you not the guy from down the street? Who are you?" And
Right.
unlike in other places where they believed him,
Mm-hmm.
they were transformed. They saw the miracles, but in his own hometown, it did not happen. Very few had the blessing. So what you're saying here truly is something that is very empowering. You have to believe it first in
Absolutely.
order for it to happen. And what you say, what you think, it's important. Uh, in the context of the midlifer who is doubting, will I be able to take care? Will I be able to pay my mortgage?
Mm.
Because
Yes.
that's real. That's real.
It is so real. I like that scripture. I really like that scripture because you're so accurate that it speaks to belief. And where we really have competition is that
Mhm.
our thought life is in competition with our communication and our
Yes.
messaging.
No.
So
Yes.
we're saying that, okay, things are going to change for me, things are going to happen, but still in
Mhm.
our mindset we're
Still
thinking
trapped.
like, you know what, I'm doubting,
Yeah. Yeah.
I just don't see it, I just
Yes.
don't believe it. So listen at this. That's why it's important that you surround yourself with a community of achievement driven,
Mhm.
like-minded individuals.
Thank you. Thank you.
You,
Like a mastermind?
like a mastermind. I was just speaking, I am a co-facilitator with a mastermind. We meet twice a month. It's
Thank you.
about 30 business owners, right?
Wow. Wow.
And one of the cohort members, just this morning, we were meeting. She said, Teresa, I know without any reservation, being a part of this ecosystem
Mhm.
has served as the catalyst to level up and scale my company.
There you go. There you go. That's transformational because
It's
now instead of operating as an island, you have 30 brilliant minds, people
yeah.
who are also out there seeking and knocking on doors, pouring into you things that you would otherwise not have access to. Reminds me of a study at Harvard 1973 by Mark Granovelta talking about the strength of weak ties. Those people, they meet people in other communities that you don't have access to, so you can benefit from them.
Right.
So
Right.
that is a powerful resource you just mentioned there. Mastermind. Someone in
Yes.
middle age who is having some self-doubt, please
Hmm.
start by believing. I had to pull out my Bible. I'm not afraid. And even if you're of some other faith, please go ahead. But this is mine, and I wanted to share that. So you talk about the power of belief. You talked also about the power of joining a mastermind so
Hmm.
that you can surround yourself with people that would continue to boost your own belief, your own energy, your own pursuit, and that would encourage you to get out there every day and knock on doors. Are
Right.
there some other resources that you could recommend for people who are in these transitions and they're scratching
Oh,
their heads and saying, "Oh Lord, will I find a job? Will I be able to?" And I would say the pressure is very immense on both
mhm.
men and women, but maybe a little bit more on the men. Sorry to say that.
Right. But it's true. It is. It can be. I'll just remain gender neutral.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Okay.
coupled with that is there's an organization that's called Democracy Forward.
Democracy
And they
forward.
have Democracy Forward, and they have a program that they've most recently launched that's called civilservicestrong.org.
Hmm.
Civilservicestrong.org, and it serves as a resource for federal workers.
Oh,
Also,
service.
yes,
Can you say that again, please?
yep,
Civil. Mhm.
servicestrong.org.
Mhm. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Now, when you say, is it silver as in the silver, the green, the gray tsunami as they call it, or as in civil,
Yes,
CIVIL? Okay,
yes,
civil. Okay, so
yes.
people who work for the government. Okay,
It was
okay,
my
okay.
accent.
Okay, no, no. I think your accent is fairly far, 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 far better than mine. So it's my comprehension that's a bit messed up. Maybe some wax in the ears, so I need to go clean up.
No, no. But
So
those
civil
are some
service
resources.
strong.org. Okay.
And then
And
one more, contingent upon which state you're in, you
yes.
also want to get connected with your governors, your office of your governor, because
Okay.
I'm quite certain that in most states, the governor's office
Mhm.
also has a website or an area that's directly linked to resources
Mm,
for those that are in the federal space.
So they can use these resources to find
Mhm.
hub, to find locate new companies. The kind of
Absolutely.
clients that you're working with, are they typically coming from federal? I know you live in DMV. Are they typically coming from private sector? Where are they coming from, if you don't mind?
Yes, absolutely. I absolutely am obsessed with human capital development, leadership, coaching, and development. So my clients come from the government space,
Mhm.
associations. We have a
Mm,
lot of associations as well as corporations. And
mm,
I believe that the reason why we continue to receive referrals is because of the transformation that happens during our
mm,
coaching engagements, which
mhm,
are most of the time starting at 6 months.
mhm,
And coupled with, so many HR offices, they're so lean that they
mhm.
just don't have the time to
To
vet,
do that.
fully vet,
Mm, mhm,
different companies. And so
mhm,
because we are credentialed through the International Coaching Federation, that
mhm.
gives them a sense of, okay, you know what, this company has already been fully vetted. I
Yes.
trust the ICF,
Yes.
and then we perform in that way.
So if I understand you well, you as a founder and CEO of Forward Movement Enterprises, you are accredited by ICF to take on
Yes.
such project. Is it you as an individual or you as the company? I know you're the
So it
CEO,
is,
so you.
yes, so it's myself as an
Mhm,
individual that has the ICF credentialing, and we
mhm,
also have other coaches that are on our team that have
mhm.
that share the same credential.
I see.
That they've
So,
gone through the vetting process
mhm,
individually as well.
yes. So the companies can come to you and say, okay, I want to place three, four, five, 10 individuals, executives who have lost their jobs, help them to make a smooth transition to the next job. Is that how you get paid, or you get paid by the individuals?
Yeah, actually, it's through the companies. Most of the
Okay.
time, we do have
Mhm,
individuals that come to us as well that are business owners that are
mhm,
looking to grow their companies. And
mhm,
so, but for most of the time, for corporate entities, is and
mhm.
government agencies, is actually through their employer that
Interesting.
pays us. Mhm.
And you, being someone who has made such a transition, I don't know if you were in midlife then or you were still earlier on in life. You've made such a transition, you know the pains of making those transitions, so you can relate to them. You also know that there are some in-demand skills. What are some of
Mhm.
the in-demand skills today that someone in the 40s, 50s who's lost their job through no fault of theirs can lean on to be able to easily latch onto another job and go back home, smile to their spouse, and say, "Honey, I got something coming. Yes, we're gonna make the money. We got the money." So, what are some of
Yes.
the in-demand skills?
Oh, that is such a great question. So I would say number one, well, let me not even number them because they're all really significant. It,
Mhm.
innovation.
Oh.
How innovative are you in as it relates to refinement and just really reimagining the way that we do business, the way that we serve our customers? Like how much innovation can you bring to the
Mhm.
entity, to the company organization? The
Mhm.
next I would say is adaptability.
Mhm.
Change is constant,
Yes.
so how well will you adapt in the midst of
Mhm.
constant change? That's
Mhm.
significant, that being agile and
Mhm.
flexible.
Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
Number three is problem solving.
Mm.
Problem solving, like how is it that you show up when it comes to being a solutionist?
Mhm. Mhm.
What does that look like?
Yeah.
And then last but not least is emotional intelligence.
Okay.
you
All
you
right.
know that right there, they say studies have shown that those that have high emotional intelligence make 25% more than those that have low
Wow.
emotional intelligence.
So that is earth-shattering to me. How
Mhm.
about those that are hanging on tight to their technical skills? I don't want to let my engineering skills go away. I'm going to die with my skills. They're
Yes,
holding on tight. So, are you saying emotional intelligence can contribute more than just technical intelligence, so to speak?
absolutely. Absolutely. Because what an employer wants to know is that when I place you with this team,
Mhm.
you're going to know how to navigate conflict. You're going to
Mhm.
know how to work collaboratively with team members.
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
don't need another challenge added on
Mm.
to
To
this
whatever you
robust workload that I have. So I need you
have.
to come right in, gel with the team, that there be synergy, and we get the work done.
Done. Hmm.
That makes things
Wow.
smooth for the for
Yes.
the for the leadership, for the
Yes.
employer.
Yes. Because
Yeah.
they're not hiring you to come and act to their workload. They're hiring you to come and help us take some of this over
Yes,
from our shoulders, which are already getting bent. So okay, that is
absolutely.
very interesting. Midlifers, they come in all shades and colors.
Yeah.
Some are blue, some are green, some are white, some are black,
Mhm,
some
mhm.
are who knows what, the colors of the rainbow. It appears that some demographics suffer more than others in terms of finding jobs. Are you seeing any of that in the people that come to you? Does it reflect the fact that some demographics tend to struggle maybe a little bit longer to find jobs? or that's not an issue that you're seeing at all? Because that could be a bellwether environment to see what's the true color of America.
Yes, and we're still challenged in so many spaces
Mhm.
with those type of challenges. We're still challenged, and that's
Yeah,
just the
some of
fact. That's just the
those
fact.
areas. Okay.
Uh, however,
Hmm.
the work that we do,
Hmm.
building that cognitive renewal,
Hmm.
helps us not to focus on that.
Okay. Okay.
We're leading with capabilities. We're
We
we're
hope.
leading with skills,
Hmm. Hmm.
because whenever you place your energy into any area, it
Hmm.
becomes the law of attraction. So now
Yep.
you make it an issue and it may
Yep.
not have been.
Thank you. Thank you. I
You
appreciate that too.
Yes,
Because it's not all the times that it is a burden. It's not all the time. Sometimes it
absolutely.
could be a bridge to get you across fairly easily. How do you leverage your strong Christian values in your coaching and your outreach? How do you how does that inform you? Because obviously the way that you do business, from what I know,
Hmm.
it is very well informed by that. But how are you bringing that to work so that it helps people to move on faster? Because you are all about forward movement. You're not about backward
Yeah,
movement,
that's
right?
it.
That's
That's
what
it.
forward enterprise is all about, right? Forward
It's all
movement
about moving
enterprise is
forward.
about moving forward. So how do you leverage your Christian principles, life doctrines to help
Yes,
people move forward faster?
absolutely. So it's spiritual intelligence. And
Mm.
I never place my faith on or push my faith onto anyone,
Mhm,
because that's what the scripture says, not to do anything that will potentially offend your neighbor.
mhm, mhm,
So there's, even when we're training in government spaces, I know that I can't pull out my Bible and say, turn us
H.
Matthew 13:58,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
And so you just be very wise as with your delivery, and know when it's acceptable to do that and
Mhm.
when it is should be reserved.
Okay.
And I understand this. I can still speak and demonstrate my faith without
Without
saying a word about
Thank
it.
you. Thank you. If anything, it reminds me of the advice that John Newton gave his mentee, the one that became very, very famous, the guy that succeeded in fighting the institution of slavery in UK.
Mhm.
John Newton told him, "Go out there and be that light in the marketplace. You don't have to be a pastor to do that." That's what he told
Yeah.
him. That's why I said, don't have to be. You don't have to. You don't necessarily have to be. You don't have to be a pastor. You can be a pastor in parliament without saying that you're a pastor. And that through your light, they would come to realize the blessings and the miracles that you bring. So that's really something that
Yes.
I think that. So you're bringing your faith to the marketplace, but without starting from the rooftop and shouting, "Oh, amen.
I'm a
I'm
believer.
a believer. Everybody listen to me!" Like, no, that's gonna offend
Yes,
people. It's gonna offend people.
absolutely. And
Yes.
I'm telling you, it has served me well. Like, I live by faith.
There you
I
go.
live by faith. And
Yeah.
even, working with men and women, they
Mhm.
all say, there's something different about you.
Mhm.
And so I
Mhm.
just smile,
Yeah.
I just
Yep.
smile.
Yep. Yep.
But my primary focus is on adding value to
Um,
their lives,
yes.
leading them, guiding them, but allowing them to have the autonomy to
Mhm.
make the decisions, because I want to help build them up in such a way where they're independent and not reliant on me,
You.
but
Yeah.
they're independent to make high quality decisions,
Mhm.
because that's where it all starts, especially in
Yes.
regards to emotional intelligence. So when it
Mhm.
comes to our coaching engagements, I
Mhm.
bring in the training aspect,
Mhm.
but I also bringing in the curiosity to the
Mhm.
space. So I'm
Mhm.
asking those questions that literally, whenever we're in person or on a Zoom, they lean back and say, "Ooh." That's a
No one
good
has ever
question.
asked. No one has ever asked me that.
No one's ever asked me, okay, okay, I like the way you worded that. Okay, let me, oh, that's good.
Mhm. Yeah, that's amazing. Wow.
Yes, I'm
Okay.
grateful.
All right. Find one case, one individual that you're proud of who has come through your coaching and mentorship, and they've come from broken, I don't want to use that word, or doubtful, uncertain. Now they're thriving.
I
Where
have
are they
so
thriving?
many.
Yes, I know it'll be
I,
tough to pick one, but pick if you can find one that one specific. You don't have
okay.
to call. You don't have to call names. You can just say it's a female.
Oh,
If
yeah,
you want
yeah,
to call
yeah.
names, by all means, call. But you can
No,
say it's a
so
male.
this leader has given me permission to share. Just whenever I'm sharing,
Mhm,
but still
mhm.
withholding the name just for
Yeah.
confidentiality.
Yes.
Uh, so this leader been with the company for 19 years,
Yes.
was constantly passed up, over, looked over for
Mm,
promotion time after time after time. She would speak with her leadership. Okay, what do I need to do differently? She would
mhm,
take what the leadership share with her, make those adjustments,
mhm,
and continue to go back. Okay, so how am I improving in this area? You're doing tremendous. That's great.
mhm,
Let's keep
mhm,
it moving. And then another opportunity would come up. She would apply again, same response.
yeah,
We've decided to go with another candidate. So you could
yeah,
just imagine how depleted,
yeah,
how, I mean, just a loss of
yeah.
hope, and
Oh,
even, and operating now in
yeah,
doubt. It's never
yeah,
going to happen for me.
yeah.
That's where this leader was when we initially started working together. She said, I'm just willing to give it a try. You know, I mean, but 19 years, Theresa, I've
Mhm,
been going through this, but I'm not moved by numbers.
mhm.
So I'm coming in as if you said that it was only 19 months, right?
Okay. Okay.
19,
Yeah.
19
Yeah.
days. I mean, but
Yeah.
less. And so together, collaboratively, we built a plan for promotion, a strategy for her
Mhm.
promotion. What does she
Yes.
need to do in terms of her performance? How
Mhm.
does she need to show up differently? We
Yes.
explored those blind spots. Oh, she said, I
Mhm.
never noticed that I do that. It's okay because we're here now. And
That's
I
why
would
we're
share.
here. Yeah.
I'm going to be really direct, and of
Mhm.
course, in a with diplomacy intact,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I would share those opportunities for improvement, because that's what we call them. It's an opportunity for you to improve
Mhm.
upon.
Mhm.
And I am so proud to say that she landed that promotion. That
Oh,
promotion that she was after, she
yoo-hoo! Yes.
screaming like Teresa. Well, not screaming because she's still
Okay.
reserved. She's
Let me
still pretty
say
buttoned up. She's buttoned
that's
up.
another Vuvuzela moment. Kudos
I love
to
it.
Forward Movement Enterprises. Can you imagine the impact of that on their family? Can you imagine the
Yes.
impact of that on their community? And more importantly, on her
Yes.
self worth. On her self worth and how she's going to
Yes.
show up the next day. That's what
Yes.
people do in the shadows. What you're doing in the shadows that people don't recognize. That is a
Uh-huh.
transformation. And I applaud you for that
That
because
is.
you're coming from a place of holistic, real,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
cognitive, spiritual renewal. It's a whole lot of things that sometimes you cannot say, you cannot list all of them. And where are they today?
Right.
What role do they occupy today?
Oh my, she's at the executive level
There you
with
go.
her company. She is enjoying every moment of it. We still communicate. We still talk till this day.
Oh my
And
God.
I'm just so proud of her success, because I know, and this is what I share with all clients, it's not a one-sided approach.
Yeah.
It's a we're co-creating the
Mhm.
strategy. We're
Yes, indeed.
co-creating those
Yes.
moments, but really the ball is in your
You're
court.
caught. That's
Because
right.
if you don't perform, if you
Hmm.
don't execute and implement, then there's no profitability.
Yes.
you know
Yes.
and so she was willing to come out from her comfort zone and enter into a new income zone. The
Hmm.
income zone not only being monetarily, but just
Hmm.
another level of fulfillment, another level of satisfaction, and as you mentioned, Dr. Gideon, is impacting her family because they see her
Yes.
differently now. She's
Yes.
coming home excited,
Yes.
enthused.
Yes. That is magic. So
It is.
permit me to call you a magician. Some magicians go on stage with a magic wand and doing that. But what you're doing is weaving magic on
Yeah,
people's minds to go out there in pursuit of more. I'm
that's it.
sure there are a number of things you do to weave your magic in. Perhaps resume, perhaps personal branding, perhaps I don't know. I don't know. It's none of my business talking about that. I'm not in that space, but I know that. What are some of the things that you touch on? Give us a couple of checklists of this. Check, check. Personal branding, personal image, check.
Yeah.
Resume, check, check. Give us a couple of
Yes.
checklists because people
Yes.
listening, viewers, pay attention because she got a magic touch. So listen very carefully.
Well, I appreciate that. So
Yeah.
it does start with that personal image and
Mhm.
branding.
Mhm.
And with some clients, especially those that have been telecommuting, teleworking for several
Mhm.
years, they're
Oh,
probably saying, well, Teresa, this is how I've been showing up. Well, we gotta polish it up.
gotta
We got to
up the game.
polish the. Listen, you've heard that saying, don't judge a book by its cover. Well, guess what? Books are constantly judged by its
Judge by the
cover.
cover. Thank you. Say that again. Say that.
Yes.
Books. I don't pick a book and just buy it because it's a book. I also look at the color.
No,
The color
we
is
look
not
at the
attractive. I
cover.
walk away. Yeah.
Yeah, we look at the cover. Is the cover intriguing? Do you want to know more? Do you want
Yes.
to purchase? And I,
Yes.
I literally have more books than I have shoes, and
Oh
I
yeah.
love shoes, and
And I
it's
can relate to
because
that too. I got more books than I got hair on my head.
so that I
So,
would say
so
that image is so
image.
significant.
Yeah.
If one of your listeners, if they desire to increase their visibility as a brand, it
Yeah.
starts with your professional image.
Image.
That's your communication, your
Yes.
messaging, not
Yes.
being lazy in language, but speaking from a point of view that speaks to forward movement, that
Yes.
speaks to progression,
Yes.
because it's a sad thing when, and just looking at individuals that truly have the capabilities, they can perform the job,
Hmm.
but yet they don't know how to communicate it.
You're
So
lazy.
they miss out on opportunities because the communication strategy is not in place. So that's
Mm.
another piece. So we said
Okay.
professional image, the
Yes.
messaging around the communication, and you
Yes.
mentioned that resume.
Yes. Okay.
That resume is so significant. Okay, so I've seen resumes that have been like 5 pages.
Hmm.
Why? Why are we doing 5 pages?
Who has the time to read 5 pages?
No, when the recruiter or when the decision maker receives these 5 pages, just imagine how many
Yeah.
resumes they receive.
They're receiving.
I Oh my gosh, I want to say it was oh gosh, I want to say it was like Google. Oh goodness, it's escaping me. But this
Yeah.
one particular entity, whenever they post, it was Google. Whenever they post the job postings, they receive a minimum of about 20,000 resumes.
No kidding.
20,000. So, how do you ensure that your resume is that top of the stack? You want to be
Mm.
top of the
The
stack.
start.
Okay,
Yes.
so I'm maybe, as opposed to going back to 1999, maybe I'll just go back to 2000, or
Yeah.
or not 2000, 2010, in terms
Yeah.
of my history of performance.
Mm.
So
Yes. Yes. Uh,
condensing the number of pages, I would
yes.
say two is your sweet spot. Two
I
two is
see.
the sweet spot. One is really good, but two is like the sweet
It's-
spot. Okay. So
Okay.
anything above two, too much. Extract,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
next thing is being really selective about what's the story. Oh, Dr. Gideon, I know you can speak to this. What's the story that I want to convey with my resume? Do I want to
Yes.
convey the story of a high performer? Okay,
Yeah.
so then, as opposed to saying that I attributed to the success of the company, blah, 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 how
Yeah.
did you do it? Like,
How did you do it?
I contributed to the returns on our
Yes.
investments by 25%, or
Yes.
I helped to save the
Yeah.
company X amount of dollars or this
Yeah.
percentage as a
Yeah.
result of the solution of the,
Mm-hmm.
but just being really strategic
Mm.
about those numbers. People, when they see numbers, that really resonates and it helps to
Yes.
tell your story with
Yes.
clarity and
Yes.
also highlighting your performance.
Wow.
Wording matters. The words matter. So
Matter.
as opposed to saying, I have, I'm detail oriented. We see that a lot. I'm detail oriented. I have fresh attention to detail.
Yes.
It's still simplistic, but in
Yep.
the mind, when we see fresh attention to detail, I need that person.
It
I
clicks a
need
bit
that
differently.
person that's not going to be
Yes.
so stuck on
Yeah.
these old mental models, these old
Oh yeah.
ways of doing
Yeah.
things, but one that's
Yep.
going to be really fresh in their
Mm-hmm.
perspective and their details and how they
Yep.
are vigilant.
Yep.
So that's what
Hmm.
makes a difference. And I wish your viewers were local because for the community, we're hosting it's called the Secure the Position. Secure the Position,
Secure the
Revitalizing.
precision in person
Yes,
or virtually.
it's going to be in person. Maybe we'll think about doing one virtually as well. But yes, it's
All
going to
right.
be on
Give them the
February the
location and
28th.
the time. Those that really care, those that really want, they can fly in. Why not? I've driven 8 hours from Reno, Nevada to Las Vegas to go take a
Yes.
class from a respected authority. I did not stop myself. I did that twice, and it's part of the reason why I got into skill path later on. Later on, yes, if I'd not gone there, I probably would never have even applied because I met someone there who said to me, "But I think you're good. You should apply." I'm like, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" I'm not sure. I got an accent. And yes, even with an accent, I was still able to get in. And I did not see too many people with accents, but that person also, it was thanks to driving 8 hours each way that
Yes.
allowed me to meet someone. So I'm saying if somebody really needs to secure that position, they should listen to this program that you're presenting and come take it. So give us the details.
Yes, absolutely. So it's going to be February the 28th. That's on a Friday. So it's a date night with your destiny.
There you go.
And is it okay if I possibly send you the address and everything? I can send it.
Yes,
It's going to
please.
be in Temple Hills, Maryland.
Limpo
Yes,
Hills. Okay.
on February the 28th at 7 p.m. So it's going to be
Okay.
after, for those that have to work, it's going to be after
Mm.
work
After
hours, and we're
work.
calling it a date night with Destiny, secure the position.
Wow. Wow. And is that one day only or that one night or is it gonna continue on Saturday?
Yes, so right now it's going to be one evening.
Mhm.
And of course, if the demand is there, we're willing to do it
Do more.
again, do it virtually. It's all about serving the community. So it's free of charge. And we want to do everything that we can to support those that are in transition, especially those that have been impacted with most recent events.
Yes. Some in recent, in fact, way back 2008, 2009, I started to discover people that do what you do in Reno, Nevada.
Mm,
And since they recognize me as a story guy, they'll bring me in, come and talk sometimes about telling your story. How do you weave your story in the course of talking to the potential employer why you are special and not someone else? And I did enjoy a I enjoyed a great amount of new opportunities through those interactions. Lost some of them, but I have to say that each one of them was always very, very rewarding. In
mm,
fact, one of them enabled me to get a job 1 year later because a person who was in the room listening at the time did not have a job. I was sharing with them, how do you tell your story? She went and had a job as an HR director for Boys and Girls Club of Chucky Meadows. And 1 year later, she came looking for that guy and said, I want you to come. We have a grant here for something of that nature. And she got me in. And maybe I'm bragging a little bit about that, but it was very, very, it was empowering to know that some of the skills that sometimes we take for granted, like I took storytelling for granted for a long time before I
mhm.
discovered that it's important. What are some of the things that you're seeing job seekers, mature job seekers, take for granted? Yes, you've talked about image, you've talked about resume. What are some of the other things that they're doing? They're not very informed on how to position themselves right. Is it, do
Right.
they have LinkedIn? Do they have LinkedIn presence? You have, or they have some careless mistakes on social media? What are some of the things that they take for granted that can actually
Yes.
help?
Thank you so much for that question. And I just want to echo what you just mentioned in terms of that storytelling piece. I highly recommend any agency, corporation to bring you in to facilitate a really powerful discussion on how to tell your story, because that speaks to your presentation skills and
Yes,
even your day-to-day operations.
yes, indeed.
Listen, when you can effectively communicate, it lessens conflict in the workspace. So they need you. They need you,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Gideon.
Thank you.
Hands
Thank you.
down.
Thank you. Thank you. And
Absolutely.
no, I applaud that. So they need storytelling. Do they need
They need
linked? Do they
storytelling.
need link? Do they need LinkedIn in the context of
So
today?
so here's the deal with this. There are
Mhm.
some people that are so timid about increasing their online presence.
Mhm.
And they're
Mhm.
just like, Teresa, him and Teresa, why, oh, do I have to do this? And so I just share with them, no, you don't have to, be
Mhm.
more active on social media platforms. You
Mhm.
don't have to. However, if you desire to increase opportunities and visibility, it would be
Yes.
a value add.
For
So
you.
it's your decision. It's totally
Yes.
your decision. So
Yep.
coupled with that, another area that people really do not take full advantage of is their experience. They
Mm.
really water down their
Yes. Yes.
experience.
Yes.
And it's because they just didn't see the magnitude of their impact. And so
Yep.
when we're having one-on-one conversations with those that hey, listen, we need a resume refresh, and
Mhm.
I'm going over each of their work experiences, and I'm saying, okay, so tell me about some of the success that the
Thank
company
you.
has
Yeah.
had. And
Yes.
so they tell me about the success that the company has had. And I said, well, did you contribute in any way? Well, yes, I did. I said, why isn't that on your resume? I didn't even
Exactly.
think about it.
Exactly.
Yes,
Exactly.
you were a valuable contributor to
Yep.
that success.
Yep.
Highlight it.
Yep.
Highlight it,
Yep. Yep.
So
Wow.
that's another piece that's really missed is that experience. Your
Mm.
experience, you really have to
Matters.
drill down. Don't remain at the surface level, but just
Thank you.
really drill down to that impact. And
Yep.
that's how your resume is at the top of the stack, so to speak. Lastly,
Thank you.
is your showing up.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we feel that if I want to land a job, I have to send out 30 resumes a day. That's the only way I'm going to land this next opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it takes stepping away from the computer
Yeah.
and going out
Thank
to
you.
different, like, when is the last time that someone instructed you to go to the place of that you desire to work? Like, there
Mm.
may be a corporation, an association that you will absolutely enjoy working with.
Yes. Yes.
How many times have someone said, why don't you just go to the office and
As
drop
as
off drop
yeah.
off a box of cookies or a basket of fruit and your
Yeah.
resume?
Yep.
I
Yep.
never thought about that. I thought I always had to email. No,
There you go.
no.
I just learned a new technique now.
Yeah, no.
There you
You
can
can
go.
show up. And now let me tell you, if you desire to stand out,
Yeah.
you showing up to drop off
Wow.
your resume for a position, do you not think that they may say to you, hey, do you have a couple of moments now? We would love to speak with you.
Never thought about that. See, that's the beauty of talking to the expert. That's the beauty of talking to the expert. They know ways that can help you get through the gatekeepers and break through the
Yeah,
cloud and bust through the ceiling and get things. Because obviously, when they see that, they're like, if this person cared enough to come this far, we should care a little bit to know who they are.
I have so
And
many more.
I once landed a job in South Africa, not because
Okay.
I even applied for the position, but I wrote a proposal to them showing them you can take your company to this other part of Africa where I grew up that is in desperate need of your services. So the MD looked at it and said, but who is this dude? Who is this guy? I'd like to meet him. And then we met. And then he said, you got to meet my wife. You got to meet my wife. They flew me
Yes.
out to Pretoria. And then the next thing I know is like, they offered me a job as a country manager. But anyway, that's something for another
That's,
day. What you said that what I'm taking from there is the story sometimes, or to persuade someone is the tiny little things, the details.
it's
They
the
say the
tiny
devil is in the
thing.
details, but I also say the persuasion is in the details. The
Oh, I like
persuasion is
that.
not in the massive, glossy outlook. No, the persuasion is in the dot
Absolutely.
on the cover. That's what
Hmm.
piques one's attention. The persuasion is in, you see, you have a sword that has a chip that's been broken. Now that has a story to tell. But if you show it's totally polished, there's no chip on it, it's never been used. So I think you really you have a strong point there. But I also have
I
an
like that
obligation
you
to.
shared that. We now we're not going to allow you, Dr. Gideon, just to gloss over that strategy that you just shared. We will not, because
Thank you.
again, they can utilize that. What
Yes.
about this company? What is that one thing that they can do differently? But you have, when you, now here's the strategy with this. You can't write from a standpoint of you all are failing in this area. You
Hmm.
need my
Hmm.
support.
Yes.
You're horrible. No,
Mm-mm.
it's got to speak to edification, like you're
Yes.
already doing
Yes.
an amazing life
Yes.
transformative work in
Yes.
this space. Here's
Yes.
how we can amplify it. Here's how we can
Exactly.
take it to the next level. That's a
Yes.
strategy. That's a
Yes.
strategy.
Thank
Coupled
you.
with that, one more. Let me just give one more. I have so many though.
Absolutely.
Is
Yeah.
that if the company, to look on the company's website, and if the company has an event that's open to the public,
Mhm.
or a virtual opportunity that's open to the
Mhm.
public, then you
Mhm.
sign up to attend.
Go on,
What, I mean,
schmooze.
that, like a golf tournament, or
Why not?
a networking event. If
Yes.
there's events that they're offering, show
Show
up.
up.
It's the
Thank you.
human touch.
Because if there are 20 applicants, 19 didn't show up, you show up, you have a chance of getting hurt. That's what I hear you saying. And
Absolutely.
I could not be more grateful. The other thing is, I know you do many things. You still do you do coaching that keeps you busy. I don't know if you want to throw some numbers. You still do training, corporate training. You do keynote speaking, and you won an award recently. Did you?
Yes.
You got a special recognition. We're getting to the
Yes.
top of the hour. Why don't you talk to us a bit about that award? Because not everybody wins an award. The last time I checked, I've not won any award in quite a while. So what is it that you're doing that you're winning awards where
Well,
all of us are
you
screaming
should
here?
be. You should be. Yes. So, We Bank is the Women's Business Enterprise National Council. They're internationally recognized, and they awarded me with the Women Business Enterprise Star of the
Mm.
year for my region. So there's 14 regions that we have total. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
And
Out of
we
14 regions, you came from all the way. That's
Yes, yes,
amazing.
and they recognized our contribution,
Hmm.
our valuable contribution to the lives
Hmm.
of others, how we show up, how
Hmm.
we are really super intentional about making impact. And I'm
Hmm.
so grateful for that recognition. I
Mm.
tell you, it was a surprise, but again, I am so grateful because they do so, and they have so many amazing
Yeah.
businesses and business
Yes.
leaders that are a part of that organization. I mean, I'm talking about in
Can
the
only imagine.
surplus of
Can o-
20,000. So
can only
yes,
imagine. That is kudos to you for your work
thank you
ethic,
so much.
for your focus, and for uh, always being willing to go the extra mile to uplift others. There
Thank
are there are
I was just
people.
going to add one more thing
Please
to that.
go ahead. Yes.
It just came to me. So for those that are in career transition right now,
Mhm.
and you're awaiting your next big opportunity because it's coming. It's coming very soon.
Yes.
What can you do in this time is volunteer. Go
Mm.
to either your local community, parks and recreation,
Mhm.
nursing homes. Uh,
Mm.
what, what's the need in your community?
Mhm.
And give of your time. There's something significant about
Yes.
sowing your time, talent,
Yes.
especially right now.
Fantastic. Because it gets you a foot in the door, as Americans say. And a foot in the door is better than if you're out there and lost lost in the forest. All right,
Right.
let's look at this. There are some people that emerging coaches,
Mhm.
emerging trainers, emerging speakers.
Yeah.
They want to hopefully grow up and be in a space like you are now. What advice do you have for them on how to navigate from where they are as an emerging trainer, speaker, to being someone that is award winning?
Thank you. So I would first say to hone your skills.
On the skill.
That's number one.
Mhm.
We constantly set aside opportunities for ongoing learning and development for ourselves, and we're the facilitators of it,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm. Yes.
So even last year we went to the Association of Talent Development and earned our master trainer credential.
Mm.
you know
Mhm.
we
Mhm.
become emotional intelligence
Mhm.
assessors.
Mhm.
So how can I continue to up
To grow.
level my
Yes.
and grow
Okay.
my capabilities as
Yes.
a brand, as an individual, because I
Yes.
want to remain cutting
Relevant.
edge. I want to remain progressive. You
Yes.
never want
Yes.
to grow stale. So I would say
No.
that that's the first step as you become an
Mm.
emerging, award winning
Okay.
entity and
Okay.
professional.
Yes.
Coupled with that is what we mentioned earlier, is engagement,
Okay.
community engagement.
Engagement.
How
Okay.
are you showing up?
Mm-hmm.
Because you want to position yourself as the subject matter expert.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's me, as the one that becomes the go-to.
Mm-hmm.
So I would recommend
Mm-hmm.
becoming, for those that are women, to
Mm-hmm.
become a certified through WeBank. That's the
I see.
Women Business Enterprise National Council.
Okay.
They have an
Weaving.
ecosystem that is absolutely unparalleled. So get certified
Okay.
through
Okay.
that entity. You can also get certified locally in
Mm-hmm.
your county, in your
Mm-hmm.
state, as
Mm.
well. And that would be another really great addition as it relates to becoming more engaged in your
I see.
community.
I see. Wow. Wow, you're giving us so many nuggets of wisdom here
Thank
that
you.
can help a lot of people.
Mm.
If someone wants to get in touch with you, maybe they're put a prospect, maybe they're potential a company that wants to reach out and see if you can help them, how can they find you?
Absolutely. So, of course, our website is Forward Movement ENT. This enterprise is hyphenated. So,
Uh,
Forward Movement, abbreviated,
ENT,
Forward Movement ENT.com.
ENT.com.
On all social media platforms is Theresa,
Mhm,
Theresa R.
mhm.
Proctor. So, it's Theresa R. Proctor on all social media platforms. And then, of course, you can contact our Director of Communications at connect at
Mhm.
forwardmovementent.com.
Connect at forwardmovementent.com. All right, you heard it. You heard it. Make use of that. Don't just hear it. Don't let it come in through this ear and go out through the other ear. Write it down. Take action, because without action, nothing great happens.
Wow.
Nothing great has ever happened without someone who
Mhm.
sits up and say, I am going to do something differently. So
Yes.
let us get to this last piece here, which is just a quick rapid question, rapid fire. If someone came to you, Madam Proctor, and said, "Ma'am, what's your superpower?" What would you say?
Oh my word. That I love that question.
Thank
My
you.
superpower is discernment.
Oh, from the
My
Lord.
superpower is discernment. So,
Okay.
especially in the coaching space,
Hmm.
I sit in the posture of observation.
Mm.
And some, some will look at certain professionals as like they have it all together. I
Mm-hmm.
can
Mm-hmm.
see beyond the veneers.
Mm. That's
Yeah.
scary too.
And then,
That's scary because I have to look behind. Maybe.
and then
Okay.
I'll share with them. I'll say, listen, that's a natural ability for you. You can do
Okay.
that in your sleep. But others think that you're amazing because of this. But I see
Mm.
that in this space, you're
Mm.
operating at a fraction of your
Mm.
capacity.
Of who you should
So
be.
let's come
Okay.
up. Let's come up.
Okay.
Discernment is one of my
Mm.
superpowers that I'm so grateful for. I'm so grateful for because it
Fantastic.
serves not only myself, but it serves those that I am partnering
Serving.
with. Absolutely,
Awesome.
and serving.
Okay. And if someone says, "What's your claim? What's your claim to fame? What's your claim to fame? What makes you famous? What?
I don't even consider myself as famous.
You're famous to me, as far as I know.
Yeah, I
Right
don't.
off the back, you remember you won the Rookie of the Year when we started at the National Seminar Company. You won the
Oh
Rookie, yes.
yes,
Right
I
within a matter of
did.
months, within a few months, boom, you already knock it out of the park. So some of
Oh
us are late.
wow.
I'm a late bloomer. I slowly come from behind. I slowly come. When you're already there, you're rested, you're already taking a sip of water, you're like sitting. I'm still coming from the back. Okay. So
You reminding me. Wow. So I would say, okay, if I may reimagine that
yeah.
piece, I would say that um, my ability to add value.
Oh. Mm.
Everything that I do, because one of my core values is excellence.
Mhm.
Like I'm always thinking about how can I add another layer of excellence to this,
Hmm.
and I do this even with my clients,
Mhm.
that continue to come back year after year. I
Mhm.
don't treat them as if they are my same old client that
This
I've had.
disposable. Yeah.
I treat them every year as if they are a new client,
Mm.
you
Hmm.
know. And so I'm always thinking about how can I add value.
Value. Okay. Okay. That's a big one.
That's
That's a big
huge for
one.
me.
Okay. Yes. And let's say you had a chance to visit 3 or 4 continents. There's Europe, there's Asia, there's South America, there's Africa. Which one would you visit? Fully
Woo!
paid, fully sponsored.
Oh my gosh, that's such a hard decision because I want to go to them all.
Okay. Okay.
Can I choose D? All of the
Choose.
above?
Okay.
Option D.
Can all of the above. In what order?
Okay, so in what order? Europe, Africa,
Asia
Asia,
and South America.
and South America. And you know why? Because every opportunity that each continent presents is a different, unique
Bit different.
experience.
That's right. That's right.
So
Yep.
I want
Yep.
to experience it all. One of
Oh.
my mentors I was with last week, she's amazing, Christy Ward. She shared with me, she said, Teresa, because she and her family just returned from Iceland. She
Mhm.
said, Teresa, every experience that you
Okay.
can take a hold of right
Absolutely.
now, do it.
Absolutely
Do it.
agree. Absolutely agree. I
Oh
could
my
not
gosh.
agree more.
Yeah.
Everywhere I've been, I've learned something.
Yes.
Even the place I expected the least, I learned more from there. So I can
Yes.
see you on your choice paralysis there. I'll let that for another day when you come back to the program. What's your best book?
Oh my goodness. I told you, Dr. Gideon, I have more books than I have
Yeah,
shoes.
okay. So I'm putting in another
But
choice paralysis. Give me top two, three.
okay.
Like if you had to reference someone, that can transform them, what would that be?
Okay. So in our faith-based environments,
Mhm.
hands down, the Bible.
Okay, okay.
The word of
Yep,
God, hands
yep,
down.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
every other book outside of the Bible,
Based
you
on
can
that.
refer back, oh, this was in the scripture. This is the
Yep, yep.
scripture.
It was
Right.
somewhere there. It was
You know,
somewhere there. Yeah,
but it's just reworded. And
yeah.
I want to say too that I mean, you can read this book in one sitting. It's
Mhm.
called The Thin Book of Trust.
The
by
Thin Book of
Charles
Trust.
Feltman. Yes.
Okay,
And the
I've never
reason
heard
why
about it.
that read was so significant for me because the social learning
Mhm,
that I experienced during my upbringing was
mhm,
one that spoke to don't trust anyone,
mhm.
trust but
Thank
verify.
you. Thank
So,
you. Thank you.
so it was a
I
challenge. It was a
thank
challenge for
you
me.
to
So,
break out of that.
yes, it was
Whereas
a
I was brought up in a culture that said trust, trust,
mm,
trust, Gideon, trust.
really
I'm serious. That's how my
wow.
mom raised me. She was a widow, but she's like, she could not be afraid of anything. Go there. As long as you do the right thing, you'll be fine. She's never restrained
Wow.
me ever. And I've
Wow.
grown like that. Maybe it's given me some kind of blind optimism, which has helped me, but it's also put me sometimes in some places where I feel like, oh, maybe I should have thought a little bit. But overall, I think it's a positive. So I'm happy to hear
Absolutely.
someone emphasize that. But it's very, very much baked into the currency, into the DNA of the communities in which I grew up. Okay, the Thin Book of Trust. Okay, second edition.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
Charles
It's the
Plasman.
essential
Okay.
primer for building trust at work.
Mhm.
And it's the
Thank you.
second edition.
Thank you.
Tremendous.
All right.
Tremendous.
Very
Yes.
cool. This is the last one. If
Okay.
you walk into the room, boardroom, there
Okay.
are four chairs at the table.
Hmm.
The only available four chairs. The rest have been taken. The first chair is standing on a triangle. The second chair is standing on a squiggly. That means kind of twisted, something on the floor. The third one is within a circle. The fourth one is within a square. And again, they don't mean anything. These are just shapes on the ground. It's a shape of a triangle, a squiggly, a circle, and a square. Which of these chairs would you be more likely to pull and sit on?
I would select the circle. And the
Very
reason
interesting.
why I would select the circle, because it's all about your sphere of influence. As
Mm,
we talked about earlier, you cannot get anywhere in life alone.
mhm, mhm,
So when you're surrounded by a circle, a sphere of influence where everyone is thriving,
mm,
everyone is just fulfilled, like that's
mhm.
the circle you want to sit in.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Guess what? Based on the science of psychogeometrics, I'm not a founder of that. I just read it and I think it's interesting. It's very, very insightful. The people that sit in the circle are people that like harmony. They're people that know how to get along with people. No wonder you are a career transition executive coach with a lot of accolades from
Oh
far and near.
wow.
So yeah,
Oh,
the
good.
typical CEOs prefer the triangle, the creative types prefer the squiggly, and the square people are more like the accountants, the people that must do it right, the perfectionists. They are very careful. The CPAs, that's the ones that tend to prefer that. And it's actually I've seen it over and over and over.
Oh,
There's a lady that came here and she's like, I'm squiggly without even a doubt. I've had like a couple of squigglies. They're very creative. And she's like, she has broken every barrier that she can. Uh, and that's just who she is. So I want to thank you so much, Madam Proctor, for taking the time, for your wisdom, for your contributions in the community, for uplifting lives. And to our viewers, please go check out Forward Movement ENT and take advantage of what she's providing. I am delighted to have been a mouthpiece. And yes, this has been another interesting and very insightful episode of the Story Warrior podcast. We want you to keep learning, keep growing, never stop learning because, as Alvin Toffler says, the illiterates of the 21st century are not those who cannot read or write. It is those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So thank you for bringing some of that learning to us today, madam. Have a blessed day and see you at the very top. You know what I mean, right? At the
yes.
very top. And yes, go with your elephant, go with your team.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Teresa.